Good morning again, folks. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you how to create a quick little sample pop art piece. And there's a couple of steps to this process. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for Photo Booth, which is the tool we're going to use to take a photograph of ourselves. Variety of ways you can do that. I'm going to use the Spotlight tool. Search for Photo Booth, it'll come up, and then I click on it, and it's going to open it right up for me. Photo Booth takes photographs using this camera that's right up here at the top of the screen. I'm going to make sure that my head and upper body is filling the photograph, and there's only a little bit of room above my head right up here. Press the red button to take the photograph, and it'll count down for you. There we go. That's what I have. This photo right there. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to take this photograph, and to open it up in Photoshop, I'm simply going to click on it, and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to drag it right over Photoshop and let go, and it's going to open it up in Photoshop in the foreground. Photo Booth will still be open, but that's in the background. So I'm done with Photo Booth now. Now, look at the dimensions of our photograph. If we look up at the very top, you will see rulers on my screen, on my photo. If you don't see rulers, hit Command R on your keyboard, and it will turn the rulers off or turn them back on. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and then give myself a little bit of extra room around my photograph. So if I look at this photograph, we'll notice my photo is 15 inches wide by 10 inches tall. So this is a 10 by 15. I'm going to use my guides to divide this into 16 even parts. I will click with my mouse in the ruler and drag out. This dotted line here will become a vertical guide, and you'll notice that it will snap to the center of the photograph. I can't move it. I let go and it becomes a blue line. It will not print. It's simply there as a reference for me. So now I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to divide vertically into 4 even parts. So that was 7.5. Half of 7.5 is 3 3/4. If you have to do this math, do it on a piece of paper. Figure it out. 7.5 plus 3 3/4 is 11 1/4. There we go. Now you see that all 4 of these sections here are exactly the same size. Now I'll do the same with horizontal lines. To get the horizontal lines, I have to click in the horizontal ruler. Right in the ruler, drag down. I'll start by dividing this in half. 10 inches tall, half of that is 5. It snaps to there. Come back to my ruler. Half of 5 is 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches right there. And halfway between the 5 and the 10 is 7 1/2 inches. Release. There we go. So now I have my photograph. It's divided evenly into 16 different squares. Cool so far. Now what we're going to do is we are going to select every one of these squares and apply a different effect from Photoshop in one of these squares. To select them, we're going to use the rectangle marquee tool. And I'm going to click and drag and select this entire square. Now you'll notice that the marquee tool will snap immediately to the blue guides. Awesome. Now I'm going to come up into Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to select, I'm going to select Color Balance to start. This color balance window will allow me to adjust the color of that one portion of the photograph. Now, I'm only going to work with whatever is in that selected area. So whatever's in that area is going to be altered. The rest of the photograph is going to remain unaltered. So if I drag these sliders a little bit, you will see that the color changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust these sliders a little bit to make that kind of a drastic blue color there. That looks pretty neat. Hit OK. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to a completely different square. And I'm going to drag and I'm going to highlight that square. And I'm going to do the same thing. Adjustments, color balance. This time I'm not going to make it blue. I'm going to make this area maybe purple. Maybe add a little bit of red to it, add a little bit of yellow to it, make it a little bit orange. Awesome. Hit OK. Now I'm going to come down here to this square. And I'm going to use basically 3 or 4 colors and add them to different squares here. Color balance. I'm going to make this one yellow. And let's do one more. Let's make this square up here. What color should we make it? How about green? Let's go green this time. Oops. And we are going to make this one very green. Okay. Awesome. So now I've added a couple of color squares here. That's all very well and dandy, but I also want to apply some other effects to these remaining squares. I have 12 remaining. So I'm going to highlight this area now, my face. Maybe I'll make my face black and white there, or this box black and white. Image, adjustments, black and white. I can select a different filter for the black and white. That's what this box is right here. I can adjust those filters. There you go. That looks kind of neat. Click OK. Select another area. We're going to keep going through and adjusting every single one of these areas. Every one of them needs to have a different effect applied to it. So you can go back down through the adjustments and play with these adjustments. Figure out what they do. Adjust the brightness, the contrast. What happens if we bring the contrast way up and the brightness way up here? Interesting. Turn the preview on off, see how it looks. I don't like it. I'm going to hit cancel. Let's try something else. Go down to invert, adjustments, invert here. What's that going to do? It's going to invert the colors and make this look kind of like a negative. That's kind of neat. Woohoo. Select another box. Now I'm not going to go through all 16 of these with you, but I will demonstrate one more set of adjustments that you can make, and those are filters. We've worked with the filters before, but just so you know, the filter also will apply itself only to the selected area in the photograph. So if I come down here to maybe sketch, and I select a sketching filter, we're going to take the halftone pattern filter. It's going to bring it up in the filter gallery for me. It's going to help me to see what this is going to look like. I can zoom in and zoom out. This one makes that whole thing way too dark. So maybe I'll select chrome. Maybe I'll select note paper. Maybe plaster. I don't like plaster. Let's see here. Let's go to one that's gonna work well. Remember that I can adjust everything that's in all of my filter options. Hit OK. And now I've applied that filter there. I'm going to do one more filter. Select this area. Filter, I'm going to add some brush strokes here. Maybe a crosshatch pattern. That's what it's going to look like, but I really want to make it very vivid, so I'm going to bring the length way up, the strength way up. There we go. Hit OK. Awesome. I'm going to deselect by hitting Command D. Now when I'm done, if I want to see how this looks without the grids, I don't have to delete the grids or move the guides, excuse me. I can go up to View, Show, and turn off the guides to see how this is looking so far. I think it's looking pretty cool. Now once you're done, you want to save this. Do a file save as the first time you save this. Make sure that you save it to your server. Don't save it to our Dropbox. Don't save it anywhere else. Save it to your server the first time around. Then go back and print this to the color printer, which is what you are going to turn in to me for a grade. Good luck, have at it, and have some fun with this. This is your opportunity to explore a bit more around Photoshop.